back with the Lawn Engineer. So I've got this small flower bed here that we just created this year. This is actually an old stump that I removed and then put some organic material on top, some potting soil and extra mulch I had from a different project. I'm going to show you today how to convert this into landscape stone with these concrete edgers around it. So in this particular scenario, normally I'd take this mulch off, but I want that organic material on top of that stump for these lilies and I think Weigela here to root into. So I'm going to put landscape fabric over the top, put the edges around it, and then put the landscape stone on top of the fabric to finish it off. And we'll see how this goes, but I'll show you how I go about it here. The landscape fabric we're going to use is a non-woven product here. This is the best, the thickest, most durable stuff that my local store had. I don't think it's the best out there, possibly, but it's what we're going to use. I think it's a 25-year on it or something like that, but seems pretty thick. Actually very difficult to rip. Got to use like an industrial set of scissors here to actually get it, but I'll show you here how I do it. Now there's some grass and that around the edge. It's not a clean edge. This landscape fabric, by putting it over that, it will smother all of that out. Another option is to spray it with Roundup, but I don't think that's necessary. This fabric will take care of this grass stuff that's there. So let's go. What I like to do on these plants, if possible, is just snip kind of an X in the fabric and get it down around there if possible. Otherwise, you have to make a slit all the way and kind of put it around the plant, but we're going to see if we can do an X and get it down around that plant. All right, that was easy. We got it around our Weigela. Now these lilies are just on the edge, so I'm just gonna cut a slit in there and kind of push it around. Now what I like to do on these edges, you can fold this fabric over. That's what I like to do, since I mean I could trim it, and I'll probably come back here and trim it after I get my edges placed, but it's not like I'm gonna be able to use this. It'll just be scraps, so folding it over is just as easy. But how I like to have these edges placed is to have at least 50% of this edger on landscape fabric. Ideally, I'd pull this fabric out a little bit more and have most of underneath this. That helps prevent weeds from coming up here in these cracks and that, and just really finishes the edge off nice. There, I've got the basic fabric laid out. Now it's not rocket science, but anywhere you have a crack with dirt in there, you've got the chance for weeds to eventually come up. So you want to take your time and make sure you don't have any gaping holes or rips. But I think we're good to go here now. We just need to get the rest of the edges around and put the landscape stone on top of that. It's starting to rain now, so I'm gonna have to take a break from this and finish up later. So I'm worried about this blowing away. They make specialty staples to spike this into the ground. Those work quite well. I used them on the rest of my flower beds, but I just looked them out of them. But I found some framing nails here, and I think these will work just fine. So I'll just put in a few extra of these, hold it down during this rain, so I can come back later and finish this up. Some of these cuts I made for this Weigela here are a little big. You can cheat on this fabric, and I'm just gonna pinch it together, overlap, and put one of these nails in to reduce that gap. This fabric isn't something that really needs to lay flat. I'd much rather have this where I've got coverage and not a gap than worried about a wrinkle or something like that. The stone will cover that and nobody will ever know. All right, we've got the edgers, got them laid out there. And instead of folding it in, I think what we're gonna do is trace it with some of the kids' chalk and use that line to trim it up. So we'll finish up here. All right, that worked pretty good. We used chalk line, mark it out, trim it up. It's all ready. We just have to get some stone in it now. Got some time today to pick up some buckets of landscape stone here. So that's go to the local supply place. They let you fill your own buckets. I think it's $2 a piece. So we'll see how many buckets we need here to fill this little bed up. All right, that was 4 buckets worth I've got in there. So I think I'm gonna run and get 4 more quick, and that should finish things up. But it's looking pretty good. Here's how I've been hauling this stone home. Just put it in some of these buckets and haul it home. So I had to do 2 trips of these 4, but hopefully 2 of these finish that one out. And of course, I've got more flower beds to do after this landscape stone and doing these edgers. They're turning out looking so good. There's seems like there's more and more places we can put them, but get these things down there, see if that finishes our job up. Nice flower bed with landscape rock and concrete edgers where there used to be an ugly stump. So I'd call that a success. All done. Not easiest work, but not complicated. So if you want to change something in your landscape, make a plan and execute the plan. Adios. Down here working on that flower bed, down in the same area as the garden reclamation, so taking what was a garden, getting it back into grass. It's been exactly 7 days since I seeded this, and it's looking really good. Got a lot of seedlings up, new growth. I think we're set up for success here. I also have a video on the most effective way to plant grass. I used that this year. This is only a week after and it's looking awesome. So you might want to check that video out, get some tips on how to plant your grass seed.